Today I am going to discuss with you lapse of offer. Do you have any idea under what circumstances an offer may lapse? Yes or no? Okay. We will discuss one by one. What are the circumstances in which the offer lapses? First of all, after the stipulated time, an offer that has been made by the offerer to offeree, in if time has been mentioned that you must communicate the acceptance of the offer within 10 days, for example, and the person to whom the offer has been made has not communicated within 10 days, it will be treated as a lapse of offer because deadline has been mentioned in the offer. And the second thing, if no time limit has been prescribed in the offer, it lapses with the reasonable time as per the law. And what is the reasonable? That depends upon the circumstances of case. So case to case, reasonable time differs. That has been mentioned in the section 6(2) of the Indian Contract Act. Second, if offerer has asked offeree to accept the offer in written format and the person has communicated orally that I accept the offer, then it may lapse because it has not been accepted in the mode prescribed, right? So if any mode has been mentioned in the offer that you must accept the offer in this mode, so the person to whom the offer has been made must accept the offer in the same mode. Violation of the mode may correspond to lapse of offer. Third point is cross offer. When two parties make identical offers to each other, but they are unaware, in ignorance they had offered to each other, then such type of offer is known as cross offer. So in that case, no offer is accepted, so it will correspond to lapse of offer. Next is counter offer. If A has made offer to B, that is original offer, but B has made another offer, that means he has not accepted the original offer made by the A, but he has made another offer, so that will lead to lapse of original offer. Now, whatever the offer that has been made by B to A needs to be accepted, right? But the first offer that has been made by the A to B will lapse by rejection. To whom the offer has been made has the authority to accept or reject. So, if offer is the person to whom the offer is made is not comfortable with the offer, he may reject the offer, and this rejection may be express or implied. Express means oral or written. Implied means by conduct of the party. If the party is tolerating, that means to conduct of the party, it can be interpreted that the party to whom the offer has been made is no more interested in the offer, so that will lead towards rejection of the offer. Next point is by death or insanity of the offerer or the offeree before acceptance. Right? If offerer dies or becomes insane before acceptance, A has made offer to B, but before getting acceptance from the B, A dies, then that offer may lapse because the person who has generated the offer is no more or has become insane. So insane person is incapable of contracting, that we have discussed in the essentials of a valid contract. So in that case, the offer may lapse. Death or insanity of the offeree before acceptance puts an end to the offer. So offeree के साथ भी वही है. If offeree has become insane or there is a death of offeree, offer may lapse. Next point is subsequent illegality or destruction of the subject matter. The offer lapses if it becomes illegal after it is made and before its acceptance. So when the offer was made, it was legal, but subsequently it became illegal. In that case, it may lapse. Next is by revocation. An offer can be revoked by the offerer any time before the acceptance. Revocation means taking it back, वापस देना, right? So whatever, if A has made offer to B, and before getting acceptance, A has said that I take back my offer that I have made originally to you. In that case, it is revocation, and through revocation the offer may lapse, right? And it is also revoked if the offeree fails to fulfill a condition precedent to acceptance. A has made offer, but before accepting offer, he has to fulfill certain criteria, and B fails to fulfill those criteria before acceptance. It will lead towards lapse of offer. Lapse of offer is over. Now proceeding towards tender. Tender is also called standing offer. A tender is an offer made in response to an invitation to offer. Fine. So the party inviting tender may require a definite quantity of goods or services to be supplied in that even the person who responds to that invitation is said to have made a definite offer and would become bound by it if it is accepted. So I have told you in initial lectures, if A has made certain offer, in case of tender, that is a standing offer. Suppose A has made an offer to an organization that we may supply the coal worth 1,000 ton up to 1 year. So whatever comes earlier, if the organization has taken the supply of coal within 3 months, 1,000 ton they have taken, that means that standing offer will come to an end. If the organization has not consumed till 1 year, 1,000 tons of the coal as made in the offer, that offer will stand till 1 year, and then it will lapse. The standing offer is offer made for a definite period of time or for a definite quantity as stated in the offer. By that time or by that stated quantity, that offer stands. Okay. Now, enough that we discussed about the offer exclusively coming to acceptance. According to section 2B of the Indian Contract Act, a proposal when accepted becomes a promise. Further, when the person to whom the proposal is made signifies his assent thereto, the proposal is said to be accepted. This is a legal language. An offer has been made, right? Means that, and when it is accepted, it becomes promise, right? So when acceptance is given by words, spoken or written, it is called express acceptance. When the acceptance is by the conduct of the acceptor, it is known as implied acceptance. Right? Right? A has made an offer to B, right? And B has ordered that just send the goods deeds on the price you stated. That will be implied acceptance. We'll see now legal rules of a valid acceptance. Acceptance must be given only by the person to whom the offer is made. Right? So A has made offer to B, means only B is supposed to accept that offer. C cannot accept. So acceptance must be given only by the person to whom the offer has been made. Right? Not by any other person. If an offer is made to a class of persons, it can be accepted by any of the member of that group. Similarly, any offer that is made to the world at large can be accepted by any person who comes to know about the offer. Right? So this corresponds to right in range. Right? Second rule is acceptance must be absolute and unqualified. According to section 7(1) of the Indian Contract Act, the act of the Contract Act, the acceptance to be effective must be absolute and unqualified. Not even a simple deviation from the terms of the offer is allowed. No deviation can be made. Right? So, there's a classical example of Routledge versus Grant in 1828 with respect to this rule. What happened in this case? One party offered to purchase the other's house with vacant possession from 25th of July. The vendor of the house sent his acceptance suggesting possession from 1st of August. Right? So there is a deviation from the offer and that is not allowed. Right? So acceptance is not valid as it was not absolute and unqualified. Means no deviation is allowed. जैसा ऑफर किया गया है उसी तरीके से आपको एक्सेप्ट करना है. Otherwise you may send your rejection or you may have a cross offer that will lead towards rejection of the original offer. Acceptance must be in the prescribed mode or manner. If any mode of acceptance has been prescribed, that mode is to be, in that mode, the offer is to be accepted. Right? So, this is important. In the event of acceptor not following the prescribed mode of acceptance, the offerer can insist the acceptor to abide by the mode that he or she has prescribed. Even then, if it is not followed, then the acceptance can be rejected by the offerer. If no mode is prescribed, the acceptance must be communicated according to the usual and the reasonable mode as per the customary tradition of the business in that region. Next rule is acceptance must be communicated. Right? And it should be brought to the knowledge of offerer that we have accepted the offer that you made. So communication of acceptance is complete as against the proposer when it is put in a course of transmission, so as to be out of the power of the acceptor. It is complete against the acceptor when it comes to the knowledge of the proposer. Okay? So there is a communication cycle. It is in transmission. That means it has been communicated, and so it will reach to the offerer. Acceptance must be within a reasonable time. The acceptance must be made within a specific time limit. If offerer can put a specific time limit in the offer that you have to accept within 10 days, otherwise it will be treated as rejected. So if no time limit is prescribed, acceptance must be given within a reasonable time limit as followed in the customary tradition in that area. And acceptance is also to be made before the offer is revoked or lapsed by reason of the death or insanity of the offerer. Acceptance is not implied by the silence. Acceptance of offer cannot be implied by silence. If offer has been made and other party is keeping mum, other party is silent, it cannot be implied that it has been accepted. Right? So acceptance must be either expressed or implied, and as such, silence on the part of the offeree regarding the offer does not amount to acceptance. Possible.